She laughed when she handed me that name tag, the one that said old wallet. I smiled back. Not because it was funny, but because I finally understood. The next morning, she got the bill, and for the first time in years, I didn't pay. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Secret Affairs Exposed. This is where we uncover the hidden and shocking stories of secret love affairs, betrayals, and emotional lessons that were never meant to come to light. Now, let's dive into today's story. I arrived at the wedding venue wearing a soft lavender gown I'd picked out weeks in advance. It wasn't flashy. I didn't believe in stealing the bride's spotlight, but it was elegant, dignified. I'd even gone to the salon that morning, curled the wisps of silver in my hair, and carefully pinned my brooch just under my left collarbone, the one Chloe gave me 5 years ago that read "Best Grandma Ever." Funny how things change. I picked up my name tag at the entrance. I expected it to say Margaret Thompson like it always had. Instead, it read, "The Old Wallet." I stared at it for several seconds, heart sinking into my shoes. At first I thought it was a mistake, a printing error, some kind of mixed dash-up. I walked toward Chloe, my granddaughter, the bride. She was standing near the gift table, giggling with her bridesmaids. Her face lit up when she saw me, but that light dimmed the moment I held up the name tag. "Chloe, honey," I said softly, "I think there's been a little error with this. It doesn't say my name, it says The Old Wallet." She glanced at it for no more than a second and laughed. Actually laughed. "Oh, Grandma, relax, it's just a joke. Everyone got funny name tags. Look, Jeremy's dad is Mr. Perfect, and the DJ is Party Pilot or something." I forced a smile. I see, but I didn't. Not yet. It was only when she turned back to her friends and muttered under her breath, loud enough for me to hear, "It's not like she minds, she pays for everything anyway." Let me tell you about my Chloe. She wasn't just my granddaughter. She was my reason to wake up in the morning. Her parents. My daughter and son-in-law died in a tragic car crash when Chloe was just 12. That day, her whole world collapsed. And so did mine. But I promised her, standing at that tiny white coffin, that she would never lack love, safety, or support. And I meant it. I raised her through high school, cooked every meal, drove her to every recital, and stayed up late reviewing homework I barely understood. When college came around, she cried because she thought we couldn't afford it. I smiled and said, "Don't worry about money. Grandma's got you." And I did. I covered every dollar of her 4-year degree at Northwestern. Tuition, books, dorm fees, the whole package. After graduation, I bought her a small apartment so she wouldn't have to move back in with me. I thought I was giving her freedom, independence, a head start in life, but it wasn't freedom. Not really, it was a golden leash, one that let her get comfortable depending on me. That's when the truth slammed into my chest like a cold wind through an open door. So when Chloe got engaged to Jeremy, a slick, charming man with a perfect smile and zero job stability, I didn't say anything. She said, "Grandma, the wedding's going to be a little expensive. We've found the dream venue." And again, I smiled and said, "Don't worry about it, sweetheart. I want your day to be perfect." $45,312. That's what the invoice said. It was handed to me not by a wedding planner, not by Jeremy, not even discreetly, but by a server mid-reception, folded inside an envelope, tucked under a handwritten note from Chloe. "Thanks for being such a sport about the name tag. Love you." Chloe. I didn't react right away. Just folded the bill, placed it in my purse, and returned to my seat table. 12 in the far back corner, right behind the DJ booth, alone. That night, I didn't sleep. The next morning, I brewed a strong cup of coffee, sat at my kitchen table, and unfolded that wedding bill. Line by line. Premium open bar, $8,000 imported flowers, $6,000 designer cake, $2,000 live string quartet, $4 500 fireworks display, $3,500 all. For a girl who once cried because her parents never bought her a birthday cake with her name on it. That memory made me tear up until my phone buzzed. A text from Chloe. "Thanks again for everything, Grandma. We're off to Bali. Jeremy upgraded us to the honeymoon suite. Love you." No mention of the bill. No, "Would you mind covering it?" No, "Can we talk?" Just the quiet assumption that the old wallet would pick up the tab. And that's when I picked up the phone and called my bank. "Hi, this is Margaret Thompson." I told the bank rep. "I need to review all automatic payments connected to my granddaughter, Chloe Stevens." The rep hesitated, then asked a few verification questions. After a pause, she said, "All right, ma'am. Here's what I see on file." What followed made my stomach turn. monthly rent, $3,000 car payment, $800 car insurance, $400 credit. Card I co-signed, $2,000 average monthly charges clothing subscription. Streaming apps, premium gym membership, travel points add-ons, all under my billing profile, $6,700 a month, every month, for 3 years. That's nearly $250,000 since Chloe turned 24. And I'd just added another $45,000 wedding expense to the pile. I hadn't blinked all these years, but that name tag, something in me broke. Not just the insult, it was the entitlement, the assumption that I owed her these luxuries, that my only role was to pay and disappear. I pulled out a pen and started doing what I hadn't done in a long time. Math.college, $272,000 apartment down, payment, $60,000 car, $35,000 wedding, $45,312 monthly support, 3 years, $240,000 total. $652,000. That was the price tag of my love, my sacrifices, my silence. And not once did she ever ask, "Grandma, is this too much?" She didn't have to, because I never said no. But that changes now. I looked around my cozy little home, my worn-out sofa, my 15-year-old fridge that moaned at night. I didn't need extravagance, but I needed respect. And I hadn't had that in a long time. I convinced myself I was just going over to water Chloe's plants. She was in Bali with Jeremy, honeymoon suite upgrade and all. But really, I needed to see for myself what I'd built and what she was building on top of me. Her downtown loft was exquisite. Exposed brick, floor-to-ceiling windows, imported light fixtures, a wine fridge. All on Grandma's dime. I poured water into her orchids when a buzzing came from the bedroom. Jeremy's phone. Curiosity is a wicked thing. I shouldn't have looked, but it kept buzzing, screen lighting up with messages that showed, "Just enough. Dude, when are you going to tell her about the debt? Loan sharks aren't going to wait forever. You said marrying rich would fix this. How much does the old lady even have?" My hands began to tremble. Jeremy wasn't just financially unstable. He was in deep debt, and he didn't marry Chloe. Out of love, he married her for an escape route. Through me, I sat back on Chloe's Italian leather couch, the one I'd bought her as a housewarming gift, and felt numb. Then a message hit that sealed it. She's got to be good for at least $200K, right? $200,000. I picked up my own phone and called someone I hadn't spoken to in years. My lawyer and old friend, Patricia Wells. "Pat, I need to change my will." That's when the unraveling began. Thursday morning, my phone rang. "Grandma, you should see this resort. It's magical." Jeremy surprised me with the honeymoon suite. "It's got a balcony over the ocean." "That's wonderful, sweetheart," I said. "And how is he affording these upgrades?" She laughed. "He's been saving. He's actually really smart with money. You'd be proud, smart with money. The man who owed loan sharks $200,000. Chloe, honey, has Jeremy ever mentioned any financial trouble? Debts? Anything concerning?" A pause. "What? Why would you ask that?" "Because I love you, and I want you to be protected." She lowered her voice. He's actually thinking of starting a business. He just needs some startup capital. How much? I don't know, maybe $200,000. There it was. The exact amount he owed disguised as a business proposal. "Chloe, listen to me very carefully. Don't give him anything. Don't co-sign. Don't transfer. Nothing. We'll talk when you're back." "You're worrying too much, Grandma." But I wasn't worried. I was awake. When Chloe and Jeremy returned from Bali, I was ready. I had screenshots of Jeremy's gambling messages, copies of Chloe's credit card statements, apartment leasing records, even Jeremy's Facebook post from before the wedding. Can't wait to marry my girl and start living the good life. My first move, I called the bank and said, effective immediately, place a hold on all automatic payments connected to Chloe Stevens. Her rent, her car, her insurance, her credit card minimums. All frozen. For the first time in nearly a decade, my wallet was closed. 3 days later, Chloe called. "Grandma, something's wrong with my rent payment. The auto transfer didn't go through." "There's no mistake, dear," I replied calmly. "I canceled it." "What? Why?" "Because you're married now? It's time for you and Jeremy to handle your own finances." Long pause. "But you've always paid for everything while being called an old wallet at your wedding." Another silence. "That was a joke." "Was it? Because Jeremy seems to think I'm your family's personal solution to some very serious financial problems?" Chloe's voice dropped. "What are you talking about? $200,000 in gambling debt. Chloe, I've seen the messages. She tried to deny it, but the screenshots didn't lie. The leasing agent's warning about Jeremy's bad credit didn't lie. Her credit cards full of cash, advances didn't lie. And finally, Chloe didn't either. I didn't know Grandma, she whispered, broken. I didn't know any of it. I thought he loved me. Maybe he does, but he definitely loves my money more. She sobbed on the phone. I can't afford the rent, the car. I can't afford anything without your help. And there it was, the real truth. Chloe had become completely dependent. She had no idea how to manage her own life. So I told her, then it's time you learn. I love you too much to keep enabling this. You're 27, educated and capable, and starting now, you're going to act like it. She hung up. An hour later, Jeremy called me. His voice was soft at first. Mrs. Thompson, Chloe is very upset. I think there's been a misunderstanding. No misunderstanding, Jeremy. I know about the debt. I know about the loan sharks. And I know you saw me as your escape hatch. That's not fair. No. What's not fair is using my granddaughter like a lottery ticket. He tried guilt, then begging. They'll hurt me if I don't pay. You're the only one who can help. Then you better get a job, Jeremy, because this family bank permanently closed. I called Patricia again. Pat, Jeremy's desperate. I need to change my will now. And we need legal protections in place. I don't trust either of them anymore. We made a plan. Chloe was removed from the will temporarily. Financial assets were frozen. My house and accounts were flagged for suspicious activity, and every communication with Jeremy was to be documented because what came next was war. Saturday morning, Chloe arrived at my door, disheveled, red-eyed, holding a small suitcase. Grandma, I'm so sorry. I didn't know about the debt. I swear I let her in. I made coffee, but I laid down rules. She had to find her own apartment. One she could afford. Sell the expensive car and buy something within budget. Live on her salary, not mine. And most importantly, she had to divorce Jeremy. She hesitated, but said, okay. Over the next few weeks, I watched a new Chloe begin to emerge. She, found a modest $800 month apartment, traded in her luxury car for a used Toyota, started cooking meals, using coupons, tracking expenses, and then one night, she said something that shattered me. Grandma, Jeremy told me to give you that name tag at the wedding. He said if you didn't react, it meant you'd pay for anything. He was testing how far he could push you. I couldn't breathe for a moment. And you went along with it. I thought it was just a joke. I didn't understand what he really meant until now. She cried. I did too. But then she reached into her purse and handed me something, a check for $2,700. What's this? My first payment. I did the math. I owe you over $600,000. I'm going to pay it back, even if it takes 20 years. 3 weeks passed. Chloe had moved into her small apartment, was paying her own bills, and sticking to her repayment plan. Then, one Thursday morning, I got a call from a lawyer. Mrs. Thompson, I represent Jeremy Stevens. My client is requesting urgent financial assistance to resolve some debts. I actually laughed out loud. Your client thinks that after stealing from my granddaughter, lying, manipulating me, and vanishing to avoid debt collectors, I'd help him. Mrs. Thompson, if these debts aren't paid soon, my client's physical safety may be at risk. Oh, so now it's blackmail. I'm simply informing you of the consequences of refusing. I hung up and called Patricia. Pat, Jeremy's lawyer is trying to intimidate me. Implied threats, urgency, coercion. Let's document everything. And if he comes near you, we go to the police. We didn't have to wait long. That same afternoon, Jeremy showed up at my front door. He looked like a shell of his former self. Gaunt, unshaven, eyes full of desperation. Please, Mrs. Thompson, just 5 minutes. I need to explain everything. I stepped outside and shut the door behind me. You have 5 minutes. He went on a rambling monologue about mistakes, pressure, loan sharks, and his love for Chloe. I was scared. I thought if I married her, you'd take care of us both. I didn't mean to hurt anyone. You didn't mean to hurt anyone. You used her. You used me. You manipulated your way into our lives for money. That's not fear. That's fraud. And then, like a switch flipped, his voice changed, cold, angry. You old witch. You've got millions sitting in the bank while I'm out here about to get my legs broken. You're not family, I said, stepping back. You're a parasite. Then a voice behind me, actually, he's not family anymore. Chloe stood in the doorway, holding a large manila envelope. Hi, Jeremy. Been looking for you. These are divorce papers. Signed, filed effective immediately. He froze. You're serious. As a heart attack. You lied to me. You abandoned me. When things got tough, you used my grandmother. You humiliated her. And you made me believe you loved me when you only loved what I could offer you. Jeremy stepped forward, menacing. Don't do this, Chloe. Don't make me your enemy. You already did that. Then she pointed up. See that camera? And that one. And those police officers across the street? Jeremy turned. A patrol car sat across the road. They've been watching you since your lawyer threatened my grandmother. Jeremy paled. You called the cops on me. I protected my family, Chloe said. Something you never did. After Jeremy left, permanently this time, Chloe collapsed on the couch shaking. I made tea. We sat quietly. Grandma, I'm sorry for everything, for calling you that name, for depending on you, for not seeing what Jeremy really was. I held her hand. You see it now, and that's what matters. She didn't just survive, she grew. She stuck to her budget, tracked every dollar, and kept sending that $2,700 check each month. 6 months later, she showed me her budgeting app. I cut my takeout spending from $400 to $50. I'm meal prepping, saving, planning. I smiled. And how does that feel? Hard, but powerful. One Thursday night, years later, Chloe showed up with a final check. 20 years, 240 payments, paid in full. I handed her an envelope of my own. Inside, a set of house keys, deed to a fully paid off property, and a bank account in her name with every dollar she'd paid back invested. Grown and waiting. She burst into tears. You saved it all. I didn't need the money. I needed you to learn who you really are. And now that you have, I'm giving it back. Final CN today. I no longer go by the old wallet. My name tag, the one Chloe made for me now, says Grandma Maggie, the woman who taught me how to stand on my own 2 feet. And that is worth more than any inheritance, wedding, or luxury car. Because real love doesn't come from what we give, it comes from what we teach someone to give themselves.